3 questions, done as a habit, will 10x your leadership growth faster than any book, course, or certification. Most leaders are constantly learning. They're reading books or taking courses or attending workshops. They're consuming information, but they're not actually becoming better leaders. What if there was a way to turn every single leadership experience, good or bad, into data that you could actually use? What if the fastest path to leadership growth wasn't necessarily learning more, but reflecting better? My name is Jared, and I'm a high school teacher turned leadership coach. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact 3-question framework I've used to grow from a struggling teacher to a leadership coach, working with top leaders across various industries. Let's dive in. My first point is that most leaders are learning constantly, but never actually growing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You can read every leadership book on the shelf, attend every conference, and consume endless content, and still not grow as a leader. Why? Because learning without reflection is just information consumption. It doesn't actually transform you. Author Ryan Holiday puts it this way in his book, Stillness is Key. If I was to sum up the single biggest problem of senior leadership in the information age, it's lack of reflection. Solitude allows you to reflect while others are reacting. Think about that. While everyone else is reacting, reflection gives you the space to actually think, assess, and adjust. But here's what happens to most leaders. We get stuck in reactive mode. We don't pause to assess what's actually happening. We just survive. We keep moving. We choose survival over reflection, reaction over adaptation. We keep moving, but we don't grow. Here's what most leaders don't realize. Reflective thinking is what gives you true perspective. It brings emotional clarity to your thought life. It increases your confidence when making decisions. It helps you see the bigger picture. And it takes a good experience and makes it a valuable experience. Without reflection, a good experience is just a good experience. But with reflection, it becomes valuable. It becomes data you can use to grow. When I first started teaching high school, it was a really hard experience. I mean, really rough and bad. My students were checked out. My classroom and what the goals were did not go well. I was constantly putting out fires. But when I started asking these 3 questions after every single school day, what went well, what didn't go well, and what do I need to start, stop, or keep doing? Those 3 questions turned all of the chaos I was experiencing into a sense of clarity. And within a few years, I went from struggling to thriving, not because I learned more theory, but because I reflected better. So if reflection is this powerful, what does it actually look like in practice? We're going to go over the 3 questions that will increase your growth. Here's the framework. So the first question is, what went well? This isn't about patting yourself on the back. It's about identifying what's working so you can replicate it. You need to look inward and look outward. Both matter. So when something goes well, you don't just move on. You ask, what did I do that contributed to this? What was within my control? What conditions made this possible? Even the things outside of my control. How can I do this again? The second question, what didn't go well? This is where most leaders get defensive. But the problem is, if you shield yourself from feedback, even your own feedback, you will stop growing. Author Brene Brown says in Dare to Lead, if we shield ourselves from all feedback, we stop growing. You have to understand the goal isn't to beat yourself up. Reflection needs to be supportive and kind, not necessarily harsh and judgmental. It's about being compassionate with yourself while being honest about what actually did not go well. So when something doesn't go well, things you're going to ask along these lines are, what was within my control that didn't go well? What was outside of my control, but still influenced the outcome? What can I learn from this? How do I prevent this from happening? And the third question is, what needs to start, stop, continue, or adjust? And this is where all the insights we just got from question 1 and question 2 becomes actionable. Author Jocko Willink says in Extreme Ownership, leaders must admit mistakes and failures, take ownership of them, and figure out a way to prevent them from happening again. Reflection without adjustment is just navel gazing. You need to make a decision. What are you going to start doing? What are you going to stop doing? What do you need to keep doing? What needs to be adjusted? When I started doing leadership coaching with CEOs or university leaders or really high level professionals, I had to get even more deliberate with this. After every coaching session, I would ask myself, what landed? What didn't land? What do I need to adjust in how I'm showing up? This habit didn't just make me a better coach. It actually made me sharper, clear, and more effective. And for those clients who applied the framework to their own leadership, their growth compounded over and over again. But here's the thing, this framework only works if you actually do it. And most leaders don't. So how do you build this into a habit? That leads me to my third point. Build reflection into critical points. This is the secret. You don't need to reflect on everything. You need to reflect on mission critical things. What's mission critical, you might be wondering? It's any moment where something significant happened, good or bad. Some examples could include a big meeting, a hard conversation, a presentation, when a project wraps up, at the end of a hard week, or even at the end of a really good week. When I first started teaching, I did this habit every single day. 5 minutes, the same 3 questions. And over time, this habit didn't just make me a better teacher and leader to my students. It made my students better because they saw me modeling it. When I started coaching leaders, I applied the same framework. And the result overall, time and time again, was faster growth, more clarity, better decisions. But here's what's great. When you teach this to your team, the growth will multiply because now everyone is turning their experience into data points. Everyone is learning, everyone is adjusting, everyone is growing together. So what's next? Don't click on the next YouTube video. Pause on YouTube and go reflect on a meeting, a hard conversation, or something good that happened this week. Ask the 3 questions, spend 5 minutes, and do it right now. Then come back and let me know in the comments what you learned.